Oh, that breeze feels so good. Okay, we're rolling. Okay, welcome back to the backyard, lake house, pavilion, pool house, whatever build. Video 3, so everything's flat and we've done layout. Time to start digging some footings. I got a few planning considerations to think of. So when I did my layout, I made sure to set some posts outside my working area. So once I pull up everything in here, I can pull strings again later and not lose my layout. Also, because this is pretty flat and I don't have a skid steer, I just have my tractor with a super aggressive bucket, I don't want to dump a bunch of spoil on my pad that I've then got to clean up and might tear things up and need more gravel. So I'm going to use my bucket kind of like a dump truck. We're going to use a Mini X to dig out all the footings and dump the spoil in the bucket because I don't have to cover that back in. That's all spoil, it goes away. Because of that, I want to make sure I move in such a sequence, which I guess even without the tractor I'd probably need to, but that's another piece of equipment to consider, that I'm not digging a hole where I need to drive later. So the obstacles we have to drive around are there and this side. That's all free. So I'm going to start near the obstacles and then work away from the vehicle. So probably do these 2 footings and then the footings for the turn down for the slab for the enclosure, and then we'll finish up with the 4 footings on the front side that'll be facing the pool. And well, you're not close, so I'm putting my hat back on. I took it off so the shadow wouldn't be on my face, so I hope you enjoyed all this a second ago. But let's start digging in a second. So digging something like yourself versus hiring it out is gonna have a lot to do with how much you have to dig out. You know, it might just be worth doing it by hand and not dealing with equipment. Or if it justifies equipment, whether you wanna hire that out to someone who owns equipment, does it professionally, or rent equipment and do it yourself. I've spent about $1,100 to rent this for the week, even though all the digging I have is about a 1-day job. The reason for that is because I have never ever used a Mini X before I rented this piece of equipment. This is day 3. I rented it for a week, that's why it cost $1,100, so I could learn how to use it. As for me, there were 2 big factors in deciding to do this myself versus hiring someone. The first was just finding someone I could trust who's going to do the job to my satisfaction and I'd be happy with the results. And the second was that if I hired it out, I wouldn't get to learn how to use an excavator, which I love to collect skills and talents and learn how to do new things. If I pay someone else to do something, I can't learn how to do it. So that's the consideration. I've got about 10, 12 hours of time running this thing now and feel very confident about my skills to be able to do this. The other reason I wanted to learn how to do this was both those same considerations going into digging the pool, trying to decide if I want to excavate the pool myself or try to find someone who I don't know how good of a job they do excavating to do it and pay them the same amount as it would take to do a rental, but then not know the result. So this was also a trial run to determine if I feel confident to do that job later. And so far, I think I'll develop the skills well enough to feel comfortable enough doing that. I won't be near as fast or as efficient as someone doing it professionally, but I think I'll be able to manage it. So anyway, now let's dig. I'm Caleb with You Can Make This Too. So the approach I'm trying to take here with these square fittings is pretty simple. Just uncurl the bucket all the way, set the teeth on the edge, and then just curl the bucket and let it dig itself into the dirt. And we just keep doing that, clean it up some, best we can with the excavator. I'm not gonna be able to get it perfectly square and I can't hit it from all 4 sides, so then we'll just finish them out with a shovel. So my approach with these long turn down footings is, since I'm not super skilled, I don't trust myself to be able to hit each bucket full at the right depth. So I'm gonna try to get close to depth and just kinda, it's gonna be rough but close to depth, and then I'll try to do finish pulling passes and just kind of scrape it down to the depth I need to smooth it out. I want this to be as smooth as possible because I don't want to have a bunch of thickness variations in these footings and slabs. So yeah, here's hoping I can do it. For this part of the wall, I recruited my wife to help me. This is a little semicircular area that'll go around a fire pit, and I want to put a bench kind of cut out into the retaining wall. So I've marked where it's going to be, but from where I am in the machine, I can't see that line at all to hit it. So she helped me hit a few spots that I could see from above so I could do out the rest. So the fire pit bench area, pretty well cut in and established, and was able to clean out all the spoil pretty well. Before I do the trench for the base of the retaining wall, I'm going to get the stairs cut in. This is probably going to be in the way, and this is an intimidating part, so ready to knock it out, then finish up with something easy. So what I've kind of done is this first dot is 12 inches from the base of the wall, so that's the minimum distance I need. Drainage rock, which means the front of the stone will be about here, and with the 16-inch bucket, it's 16 inches between those two. So it might shift exactly where the trench goes, but that's kind of the idea. But the big thing was get a front of the block edge to measure from. And I did some mock-ups and figured out I'm gonna do a 8-inch rise and then a 24-inch run on my steps. They're gonna be big, deep steps over here. So from there to there is 24 inches, then that line to that line 24, so on, so forth. But of course, I'm gonna be digging all through here. Those will go away quickly. This right here is kind of my far limit mark. So what I did is over there, as you can tell, I carried my lines over, and I also wrote the finished step height. And then I've got my transit set up. My transit is at 92 inches over grade level right now. So I wrote 92, so I just take 92 minus, got a big minus sign, whatever this number is, and that's what the grade is up to that line. How I'm kind of keeping track of things to make sure I hit the numbers that I need. And this is why, after I laid out all this, I went inside and cooled off for a while, came out and wanted to talk through it, because I just realized I am 92 inches right there above grade level. And this is the finished height, which means if I cut the dirt at 92 minus whatever, the dirt will be where the top of the block needs to be. It actually needs to be 8 inches lower. So I'm gonna change this from 92 to 92 minus 8, which is 84. So it'll be 84 inches minus whatever is what I need to set my transit, my little dipper stick here to for each of these. So yeah, glad I thought through it. Thanks for watching me learn how to use the Mini X and do some more work. Or actually a few months later, the next video is going to be on putting in these retaining walls and what's going on so far. If you're the kind of person that likes to hit like and subscribe, comment, and even share videos, super thank you for that. I very much appreciate it. It makes a huge difference. Otherwise, thanks for watching anyway. I hope you learned something, were inspired, or at least entertained. And until next time, make time to make something.